Okay, Praveen, go ahead.
Good morning and good evening, everyone. This is Praveen Nidumolu, and as part of the Jntuh-Aa-Alumni Association from Hyderabad. And we are very proud to announce our monthly webinar series. And we have, this is going to be a monthly event every second Saturday at 10 a.m. Eastern Time going forward. So it's something that easy to remember, and we welcome your participation as well as your contributions. We have a very detailed program schedule here today, and we have as a chief guest, Sri Jayesh Ranjan Garu, IAS, who will be presiding over as the chief guest, following which we'll also have the inaugural keynote by Dr. Subhash Chandra Garu, as well as the valedictory keynote from Dr. Hari Panapalli. So I'm going to open up to Swami, who's a president of our Jntuh-Aa-Alumni Association, to give the welcome address.
Thank you, Praveen. Good morning to all my fellow Jntuh alumni in USA, and good evening to all my friends joining from India. As a founding president of Jntuh Alumni Association USA chapter, it is an honor and privilege to welcome our evening's chief guest, Sri Jayesh Ranjan, IAS, Secretary of IT, Telangana, and in charge Vice Chancellor of Jntuh, and our guest of honor, Dr. Manzoor Hussain, and our inaugural keynote speaker, Sri Subhash Chandra, who is also my good friend and a batchmate. And a warm welcome to our valedictory keynote speaker, Dr. Hari Panapalli, who is the chairman of Jntuh Alumni Association. And a heartfelt welcome to all our guest of honors, principals and directors of Jntuh academic institutions and affiliated colleges, staff, Jntuh Alumni Association office bearers from India and USA, and all other distinguished guests, media, and dear Jntuh global alumni. I first and foremost would like to make sure you all are staying safe and healthy, as this COVID pandemic has devastated and disturbed many families globally. However, I would like to share some good news to all of you. Today is a great day for science and humanity because as of Friday, 11th December, the US Food and Drug Administration has authorized the Pfizer and BioNTech's mRNA-based coronavirus vaccine for emergency use. So I hope the coming year 2021 would be a good year for all people living in this world. In the meantime, Jntuh Alumni Association has been conducting webinars and panel discussion with doctors and other eminent speakers around the globe to instill hope and de-stress about the COVID situation. And the good news is, in this pandemic it has created a great opportunity to innovate and bring together all people under one common platform. And with the help of Jntuh governing body and administration, along with the group of Jntuh alumni from India and USA, under the leadership of Dr. Hari Panapalli, Global Ambassador and Chairman of Jntuh Alumni Association, created a framework to start the Jntuh Alumni Association Overseas Chapter. As part of this, Jntuh Alumni Association USA chapter was officially inaugurated on 15th November, Deepavali Day, to brighten the lives of alumni and Jntuh together on this Festival of Life by our Honorable Chancellor and Governor of Telangana, Her Highness Sri Tamil Sai Soundararajan. We all are so fortunate to be part of this historic alumni chapter, which was started almost 50 years after 50 years of Jntuh history. I left Jntuh in 1993 and did not get a chance to meet with many of Jntuh folks since then, except few of my friends. But now, being part of the alumni, I get the opportunity to meet all the Jntuh folks around the globe. In fact, I did not realize there are so many Jntuhians in my own town till we started this USA alumni chapter. Now, I just feel that I'm back to my college days, spending good old time with my fellow Jntuhians, and it brings me so many memories and makes me feel young and energetic. I'm sure you all agree with me that many of us are in good position now, settled in life, and we do a lot of contributions in various forms to our own communities where we live in today. But we totally forgot to thank our own JNTU University, which gave us the required education and taught us important life skills to reach to this stage. So I strongly urge all the JNTH alumni to be part of this JNTH Alumni Association of USA chapter. And as a first step, request you all to go to www.jntuh.org and become a member. Of course, this is a free membership to all JNTH alumni. So we all can communicate with everyone on this network and network with each other. We now have the common platform to work together and support each other in this faraway land from India. And it also helps us to give back to our beloved JNTH University in whatever the way we can. As requested by the JNTH administration, the aim is to establish JNTH Alumni Association covering all the constituent colleges and academic institutions under the JNTH to connect all the alumni to support the growth of the institutions and promote the JNTH brand globally. And all this is possible only when we all unite and join hands to walk together with one focus to support Jntuh. As part of this alumni association, we have created some important goals to accomplish, and I would like to highlight few of them. Promote exchange programs for students, scientists, and distinguished scholars of Jntuh between the United States of America and India, as well as other countries. Organize periodic Jntuh alumni educational and professional webinars such as this, and conferences either independently or in cooperation with other organizations to provide support and guidance to elevate the brand image of Jntuh and to raise endowment fund. Provide common services to Jntuh alumni to achieve their professional and personal goals. Provide access to capital to foster research, innovation, and entrepreneurship. We need many volunteers to sign up to fill in different board positions to take this alumni forward to accomplish the established goals and objectives. Just to give some of the volunteer opportunities to serve the Jntuh Alumni Association USA chapter are Advisory Council, Board of Directors, Executive Council, Regional Vice President, Regional Coordinators, Standing Committees, Women in Tech, Ad hoc Committees, and Mentors, and many more. And for detailed list of goals and other important information about various teams and activities, what we have been planning since last 6 months, what we have been planning for the rest of the year, and also for the 2021, please log on to www.jntuh.org. There's only one thing you need to remember is go to www.jntuh.org and become a member and support whatever the way you can. Now, I would like to welcome our chief guest for today's webinar, Sri Jayesh Ranjan IAS, who is currently serving as the Principal Secretary of the Industries and Commerce and Information Technology Departments of Telangana Government, where he develops policy frameworks and promotes digital empowerment of the citizens. He is also the in-charge Vice Chancellor of Jntuh. He has previously worked in the tribal development, natural resources management, and poverty alleviation sectors. He holds a master's degree from Delhi University, a business management degree from the Indian Institute of Management, and also a public management degree from the National University of Singapore. He was the All India topper of his Indian Administrative Service batch of 1992. He is currently part of the National Pool of Trainers in Leadership, where he trains and mentors newly recruited civil servants. Sri Jayesh Ranjanji, we warmly welcome you to share your thoughts on this special occasion to motivate our Jntuh alumni. Over to you, sir.
Thank you very much, Mr. Swami. Greetings to all the speakers, all the participants, attendees. Special greetings to Mr. Subhash, Mr. Praveen, and Dr. Hari Ipanapalli, and all other office bearers of the Alumni Association. This is a wonderful beginning. I remember when we had when we had gathered together on the launch of the Alumni Association, I had given some ideas on how the Alumni Association can play a very useful and meaningful role in enriching the university's own academic programs. And this is one activity which definitely will be of tremendous benefit to our students, our faculty, and the alumni themselves who will be participating in these kind of programs will find this to be a very rewarding experience. I'm very glad that you have chosen the topic of entrepreneurship, particularly technology entrepreneurship in this new reality, the new world that we are going to live in. This, in my opinion, is a very, very important topic because in the uh, in India particularly, we are very confident that we are seeing the beginning of the end of the pandemic. In fact, the numbers are coming down drastically. The curve has already been flattened. In Telangana, situation is completely under control. On the positive side, vaccine development programs are proceeding at a very fast pace. In fact, I'm very proud to share with you that three Hyderabad-based companies are leading the vaccine race, and all of them are going to produce. Two of them are going to produce indigenously developed vaccines. So definitely, life is going to get back to normal much sooner than what looked at one point in time, let us say in March or April or so. But there is also a reality that the 8-9 months of lockdown and economic contraction has also impacted adversely multiple sectors of the economy, multiple sectors of the society. There have been many businesses which have literally become bankrupt, many have closed down, and obviously it will require a lot of effort, support from the government, support from the ecosystem during the post-COVID economic recovery. But there is one consensus. I'm a part of many other conversations also where we are discussing the post-COVID economic recovery. And there is one consensus, which is that digitalization is going to play a very important role in the post-COVID economic recovery. And this is regardless of where you are, whether you are in India, whether you are in the US, whether you are in this economic sector or that economic sector, whether you are a large company or a small company or a startup, regardless of who you are, if you are able to access proper digital tools, solutions, products, services, your recovery will be faster as compared to someone who gets left behind. In a separate conference, in fact, few days ago, I was speaking in a different conference where I actually mentioned that post-COVID scenario is going to be something like the Y2K scenario. And many of you will remember that roughly around 20 years ago, when this Y2K challenge had come, many Indian companies actually, and we know who these companies are. They are some of the biggest IT services companies in the country today. Many of these companies at that point in time, particularly in the US, in North America, in Western Europe, there's a very big scare that the transition from 1999 to 2000 will not happen smoothly. And therefore, all our systems, all our software, everything will crash, everything will collapse. But we all know that nothing of that kind happened. And the Indian companies actually played a very important role in taking care of the systems and softwares of all the Fortune 500 companies, etc. And thereafter, a very strong reputation of the Indian IT industry got built, and we are all capitalizing on that even now. But there is one difference between Y2K times and today's times, which is that IT industry has become much more democratic. In those days, in 1999, etc., there were just a handful of companies. And again, we know these are the giant IT services companies of India. But today, it is not unusual to find even a very small startup coming up with some very amazing product, some very path-breaking solution that can have tremendous application and relevance in multiple domains. So, given the fact that there is no monopoly that anyone enjoys, the opportunity of technology entrepreneurship has literally grown up very, very significantly. And therefore, in this context, today's webinar on entrepreneurship and technology entrepreneurship becomes very important. In fact, in the last many years, I see this trend, particularly in educational institutions. At one point in time, when you were students, I'm sure getting a placement was a very important priority, that you must join some job as soon as you complete your bachelor's or master's. But today I notice I'm on the board of another great institution in Hyderabad, which is called Triple IT. I'm sure many of you would be knowing who is Triple IT and what do they do. And I'm on their board, as I said. And typically in the board meeting, which takes place during, let us say, in January, February, etc., the director of Triple IT, he always shares with us placement data. And every year, of course, this year the whole cycle has got delayed, but typically in every year, he gives us some very, very good news, positive news. What are the average salaries? What are the highest salaries? How many companies have come? How many students got international placements? And year after year, there is a huge increase in all these numbers, and it makes one feel very happy. But there is one number which he also mentions, which no one takes much notice of, but I always ask about that number. That number is how many students did not join the placement process, how many students opted out of placement. And I noticed that I'm on their board for more than 5 years now, and I noticed that that number also is going up year after year after year. And if you ask them more, who are these students, why are they not joining the placements? So obviously some number of students want to pursue higher studies, they want to go to the US, or they want to study somewhere else. There are some number of students who want to appear in, you know, the IAS exam, or who want to do the MBA programs, and they want a shift in their career. But there is a large number of students who want to become entrepreneurs. They do not want to work for someone. They want to start their own enterprises. They want to start their own businesses. They have developed some ideas. Triple IT has a very good incubator. So some of the students actually incubate their ideas while they are students. And as I said, many of them eventually turn out to be very successful entrepreneurs, and they create great companies and come out with great products and solutions, etc. And I won't be surprised if gradually this kind of a trend comes to JNTU colleges also. I'm sure it is already happening in some colleges, not in that number which is there in Triple IT or IIT or somewhere, but this is only a matter of time that more and more students would like to become entrepreneurs. And therefore, it is very important for all of us, all the well-wishers of JNTUH, that entrepreneurship training is given to the students from an early stage. Entrepreneurship is a skill, and the more you understand the science and art of that skill, the more you practice the skill, the better you will be. I mean, entrepreneurship will not happen to you like a miracle. And it is wrong also to say that some people are born an entrepreneur and some are not born, or some don't have that DNA at all. My personal belief is that it is a skill, and if you develop that skill, you can become a very successful entrepreneur. So I'm happy that in these contexts, the present webinar holds lots of relevance, and I look forward to listening to the keynote speakers. And let us hope that this tradition of a monthly webinar on some topic which is of extreme relevance to the current students, the faculty, which is very topical in our present context, we continue to hold these kind of events. So once again, my congratulations to the Alumni Association for keeping up their word, and look forward to a very engaging discussion right now. Thank you very much.
Dr. Jayesh Ranjanji, thank you so much. First of all, it is an immense pleasure to always work with you, because you are always here to support alumni, right from the inception of the inauguration, right from the inception of making this, and also joining with us on this first webinar series after the inauguration. So thank you so much. And also you shared a wonderful insights on the entrepreneurship. And just to give a fact, in the US, the more number of entrepreneurship are from Indian origin, and most of them are also from after the IIT, JNTUians are also becoming more and more entrepreneurs. So we are going to bring a lot of those folks to this forum so that we can do a lot of this engaging. Thank you so much, sir, for joining and giving this.
Thank you, JSG, for joining us in a short notice, and also your continued guidance. And we will try to provide the mentorship to our JNTU on-campus students through JHub, if possible, and also you being the IT secretary, your involvement will be very much appreciated. And we are very fortunate that you are the in-charge vice chancellor of JNTU Hyderabad now. So we really appreciate your continued support and guidance. Thank you so much for joining. Let's move on with the program. Thank you.
Thank you, Harijay. So I would love to welcome our Registrar of Jntuh, Dr. Jntuh-Aa-Usa-Webinar, to address the team. Before that, I just want to say he's always here to support and circulate all the messages to make sure that every affiliated college of Jntuh is being getting the information. And Dr. Jntuh-Aa-Usa is BE from Osmania University, MBSR followed by MTech and PhD from Jntuh College of Engineering, and he has over 28 years of teaching and research experience in India and Ethiopia. Dr. Hussain has served as the founding principal of Jntuh College of Engineering, Sultanpur, Sangareddy for 5 years, and as the chairman, Board of Studies in Automobile Engineering and Mechatronics Engineering for 3 years. In total, he has 46 international and national journal publications and presented at 24 international and national conferences. He comes with a vast experience and the knowledge, and we really welcome you, Dr. Jntuh-Aa-Usa-Webinar, to address this Jntuh alumni who have joined globally from different parts. So over to you, sir.
Good morning and good evening to all of you. The Honorable Vice Chancellor, Shri Jayasranjan Garu, IAS, Principal Secretary, IT Government of Telangana, and today's Chief Guest, and Dr. Hari Eppanapalli, CEO, Chairman and CEO, and Mr. Swami, President of Jntuh Alumni Association, USA Chapter, and all other respected members from Jntuh US Chapter, Alumni US Chapter, and all the participants, respected participants, and my students. At the outset, I congratulate the entire team from Jntuh Alumni US Chapter for making a beginning to give the webinars on different current topics in academic area. This idea was last time we had a discussion, and in a short time, the entire team made the required arrangements, and they made the beginning of this giving a talk that is webinars on current topics. I request all the participant students from affiliated colleges and Jntuh colleges to make use of this particular platform to enrich your academic knowledge, which is going to give you a first-hand information in the latest topics and what are the research is going on around the world. And this is going to make you an added advantage in your career. So I also thank the entire team for coming out, for giving this important platform for my students of Jntuh and affiliated colleges. Really, it will be a great opportunity for every one of us. I wish you all the best. My support will be there always. Whatever the information is there, definitely will spread it to the students and the colleges across our Telangana state under Jntuh, so that all the students and the faculty will get the benefit out of it. Thank you, sir. Thank you very much for giving me this opportunity.
Thank you, Dr. Jntuh-Aa-Usa-Webinar. You are always instrumental. You are always standing side to support in many different ways, in spite of late nights and late mornings. Sorry to bother you on many different timings, but you're always attending our calls with a beautiful smile. So thank you so much. I request now Praveen, our webinar host, to take forward this program.
Thank you, Swami. We definitely thank Shri Jayasranjan Garu and Dr. Jntuh-Aa-Usa-Webinar Garu for those initial encouraging comments before we move into this segment. It's my privilege and great honor to present the keynote speaker, who is also our batchmate and a good friend of ours, Dr. Subhash Challa, who is the founder and CEO for Sensor Networks Limited. I think Dr. Challa has a unique combination of both academic leadership as well as industry leadership from an entrepreneur perspective. So uniquely positioned to guide and mentor the alumni of Jntuh. Sensen is a mid-sized company, global company, and after completing BTech from Jntuh, Electronics and Electrical Engineering, Dr. Subhash got his PhD from Queensland University of Technology and held several academic positions. Also was a visiting scholar to the Harvard University and many other international universities in Singapore, etc. And he's also the author for many papers as well as publications. On the commercial side, He has incubated several companies and worked with many strategic seed investment companies as well as holdings, participated in many mergers and acquisitions, and also listing Sensen on ASX, the Australian Exchange 2017, and has been significantly involved in several the efforts of raising investments, etc., and is uniquely positioned to give our keynote on the topic of entrepreneurship in the digital age. Welcome, Dr. Subhash, to provide the keynote speech. Thank you.
Thank you, everyone, and really honored and pleased to hear from the distinguished guests and friends. When people are referring to us as Garu, it sounds a bit funny because we're all friends. Swami, Praveen, we all met many years ago, and now we are all doing great things all around the world. And I took a slightly different segue. Everybody boarded a flight to US, and I just boarded the flight the other way. So I came to Australia and built a career here. And when entrepreneurship in fact starts from that foundation where you always try to do something new or different. So when everyone was going to Australia, it was my entrepreneurial instinct, if you want to say, I got to go to a place where nobody else is going. So there may be something more you could do there. Okay, so it kind of started there, and it has been very interesting and extraordinary journey to this point. When you go down into the basics of what is entrepreneurship and what are the triggers for entrepreneurship and so on, one of the first things that a lot of people ask me is starting a cafeteria entrepreneurship, or is starting a small business entrepreneurship, and what is technology entrepreneurship? How do these entrepreneurship different kind of things differ? So I'm going to focus more on entrepreneurship that is highly scalable. Okay, so it is going to change something in the world, the way people do things, it has to make a difference to the status quo. So when you talk about technology entrepreneurship and the power of technology entrepreneurship, it can disrupt the way people do things. Okay, and disruptive entrepreneurship is what I have pursued. And I think technology background, like what we get in JNTU or IITs or IIITs, it doesn't matter what colleges people come from, that actually creates the opportunity to create the disruption. So the key to understand is, what is the process? How do you go from an idea that we all may have when you're talking to your colleagues or sitting in an office, and take that idea to a full-blown business, self-sustaining and generating value to people in the world. Okay, whether it is people or businesses, depending on the type of business you do. So when you look at the journey of entrepreneurship, it is not like a job that people apply for. It is a decision you make to say you want to pursue an idea, and that is not going to be successful just by yourself. Okay, there are lots of people who will have to help you to actually succeed. So in my case, I had angel investors who came forward when my idea was very fragile and early, and I had the fortunate time with G.V. Prasad. I don't know if you people know him, but G.V. Prasad is the chairman, CEO of Reddy Labs, and he was an angel investor. And when he first met me, he basically said, "Think big, okay? Don't go after small stuff, right? So this is not money for it's not worth trying to just do a small difference." So that stuck with me for a while, forever now. Okay, now it's always going to influence future thoughts on now how do you make a big difference to to the world, right? So, starting with an angel investor like that, and then, other seed investors that I could find in Australia, they were all coming together to fund ideas from a university where I was actually a professor at the time. So if you taking through the journey, so small investors, angels who have done big already, they all had to feed into the vision, okay? But the vision has to be exciting. Well, people won't come and give you money just because you have an idea. So what is that we were trying to do? So in the context of the company that I was building, I always saw an opportunity that there are lots of cameras installed in businesses and governments everywhere already by the time I was roaming all the cities in the world. And the data that is being captured by those videos is never used for improving business processes. It's always used for security or safety purposes. So the vision of Sensen was, how do you tap into those video networks and convert that data into convert the video into data that can be consumed by businesses to improve their processes. So that vision is big because everybody uses cameras for security, safety. So if you can if you can form a bridge between that and a business outcome which can save costs, increase revenue, understand their customers better, things like that, it can change the world. So we went into that, and it was a journey that took me from, it was a journey that took me from, a lot of R&D publications and patents to what we are today. Okay. So let me quickly share my slides, which I put together. And I won't go through all of them, but it gives you a bit of a sample of what it is and how the journey actually evolved. Okay, sharing screen right now. Okay, so so my inspiration was, in fact, my dad. So I always offer my gratitude because he's the one who started many businesses and helped me understand the power of creating jobs. And as I was mentioning, G.V. Prasad was my angel who wrote the first check. And the advice was to think big. This is the incubator where everything happened. This is an ugly looking building in Sydney, but it now looks pretty after many years. But this is University of Technology, Sydney, where I used to be professor. And we incubated the company within those. And we designed a lot of algorithms while I was a professor, which we spun off from there. This was our startup team, a small group that kicked off the launch. You might
Looks like there is some issue, Praveen, with Subhash. No, you're on mute.
Yeah, there seems to be some lag. Dr. Subhash, do we still have you?
See, this is what, when the entrepreneur starts, he is practically showing how difficult it is to become an entrepreneur and how much difficult one has to go through. He's just demonstrating. So it is not the network issue. He just want to demonstrate how much one has to go through these sufferings.
Good one, Swami.
Yeah, that's a nice way of saying, Swami.
Okay,
You know,
so,
because we know Subhash very well. He was our batchmate, and we all worked together. And then he has went to Australia to pursue of his PhD, and he became a professor. And then he invented some things, and then it became a passion. But then once you have a passion, it's not so easy to start a company because somebody has to write a check, somebody has to work 24/7, somebody has to sweat their the time. They have to sacrifice a lot of the family time, personal time. There are so many hardships one has to go through to reach up to this level. We all are happy to say that, okay, after 20 years, he's been a successful entrepreneurship, but the first couple of years, which he has to go through that journey is very, very difficult. It is an ardent task, and people can only be successful if you are withstanding that heat, right? So this is like, one has to struggle with oneself to come up to this level. The yardstick is not somebody else, it is yourself. If you are able to put your yardstick, you are able to perceive with all the focus areas and with only one focus that you have to become an entrepreneur for a good reason, then automatically that will pay off. And also you can just imagine Subhash is at Australia. The time right now is already past 1 a.m. Because of the passion what he has, he's able to stay long and foregoing his sleep to share his story. Praveen, are you able to connect with Subhash?
yeah, I'm trying to. I've requested him to rejoin because he seems to have an issue. One thing that he did share is that raising, getting seed investors and finding people who are interested in supporting small businesses is not very common in Australia like it is in the US. So definitely something he wanted to share. What we can do in the interest of time is we can move on to our valedictory keynote and come back if that's okay. That way we have a good flow going on.
Yep.
So I definitely welcome Mr. Kumar Rani to introduce our valedictory keynote, Dr. Hari Panapalli, and then we'll revert back to Dr. Subhash once he returns.
Thank you, Praveen, and good morning, good evening, everybody. I'm privileged to introduce Dr. Hari Epnepalli. He's a financial services professional, an entrepreneur, and a philanthropist with a passion for healthcare, education, and environment. His mission has been to transform youth into responsible citizens to establish a peaceful society for harmonious living. He received his BTech Mechanical Engineering from Jntuh, Hyderabad, and Masters in Computer Science from New Jersey Institute of Technology. And also he completed an executive program in general management from MIT. With over 30 plus years of diverse experience, Dr. Epnepalli has been involved in managing high visible global initiatives in the financial and social services sectors. He's an entrepreneur, keynote speaker, investor in disruptive technology companies, and serves as chairman of the board for CIC Group and Kubel Genomics Institute. He is a visionary, mentor, founder, chairman of Lead India and Liberty Foundation. As he is also an advisor to ADO, which is Alternate Development Organization in Norway, and the founding board member of the Financial Policy Council. He is passionate about giving back to the society. He serves on the boards of several for-profit and non-profit organizations. He is the founding chairman of Lead India Foundation. I welcome Dr. Hari Epnepalli to speak.
Thank you very much, Kumar Rani, for the graceful introduction. Again, a warm welcome to all the JNTU alumni around the world, and especially would like to gratefully appreciate the JNTU Alumni Association, the US chapter, for taking the lead to organize this monthly webinar series. It's a wonderful thing. It's a timely intervention of the JNTU Alumni Association to not only promote the entrepreneurship, but also provide the opportunity for employment and as well as investment in the emerging technologies. I think the topic is great, entrepreneurship, and also the future of digital economy. I'm grateful for having me as a keynote speaker today. And thanks to Subhash also for joining us from Australia. I'm sure we will get to hear from him a little later in the program. So friends, again, the COVID-19 pandemic continued to impact lives of millions of people around the world, and the global healthcare, education, economy, employment due to restricted mobility. UNESCO estimates that over 1.5 billion students in 165 countries are out of school, colleges due to COVID-19. Especially youth, like JNTU alumni, as well as JNTU current students, are undergoing a lot of stress and losing hope since finding jobs has become difficult for those who graduated. Again, I sincerely appreciate JNTU Hyderabad Alumni Association for starting this monthly webinar series to instill hope and encourage youth to be safe and be positive about their future. The pandemic has created an opportunity as well as an undeniable challenge. This may require partnerships between institutions of developed and developing countries to share the knowledge and resources to kickstart the economy using the Industry 4.0 technologies like artificial intelligence, blockchain, genetic testing, 5G technologies, augmented and virtual reality, cybersecurity, autonomous and electric vehicles, smart cities. Again, this requires enormous amount of skilling, reskilling, and upskilling to generate employment. Unfortunately, we're going through this COVID era. And if you look at today's numbers around the world, 71 million people are affected and over 1.6 million people succumb to this COVID-19. Unfortunately, USA is leading that effort. About 16.5 million people are affected, over 300,000 people dead. And India is trailing behind US. Over close to 9.8 million people are affected as of this morning, and about 142,000 people are dead, and followed by Brazil, Russia, France, UK, Italy, Turkey, Spain, Argentina. These are the top 10 countries that are facing this COVID-19 like everybody else. COVID-19 is going to have enormous impact on the economy in particular. It's projected that about $82 trillion will be the cost of COVID over the next 5 years. There will be a reduced liquidity in the market, increased borrowing costs. About 2 out of every 5 jobs lost may not come back in the same position. That means they require a lot of skilling, reskilling, and upskilling to get employment again. And COVID-19 will hit hard the cities of developing countries, especially like countries like India and African countries, Latin American countries. The technology front, there's some blessing here, but a healthier digital lifestyle for all of us to get connected through Zoom and various other media. The regulatory barriers are falling, a boon to virtual reality, an opportunity for innovation, and this results in stronger domestic supply chains. As you all know, the stock of Amazon is going up and up. Increased e-commerce and online shopping. From a health and education point of view, it will be a rise in telemedicine, rise in virtual online education, governments becoming big pharma, and science will come back with a lot of research and opportunities. Governments also going virtual. As you can see, the assemblies, parliaments, and congressional sessions, you will not be surprised if they do on Zoom or any such online platforms. Big governments may come back. Inequality gap widens in the society that will lead to political uprising. As you can see recently what happened in the US, the electronic voting and voting by mail will be a norm moving forward. There will be revived trust in institutions and online transactions, because that's the only option right now. The lifestyle point of view, virtual office, virtual education will be a reality, and less communal dining and visiting to worships, places of worship, and less number of in-person parties. Especially a big impact on active life and health. So we all have to keep moving, whatever way you're home, just please make sure that you keep moving. A big gain for the environment. It's a clean air and clean water. Hope this tradition continues even beyond COVID. So I'm also part of an organization called Lead India Foundation, which we had a very major event recently on the occasion of Dr. Abdul Kalam's 89th birthday. We had a sustainable inclusive development, challenges and opportunities for healthcare, education, environment, peace and harmony, economy, employment, and empowerment of women and youth. And we also launched an innovation challenge on the occasion of Mahatma Gandhi's 151st birthday on October 2nd to invite ideas for sustainable inclusive development in these 7 categories. And JNTU alumni can still participate in this challenge. We'll be connecting with the mentors as well as investors for the right idea for a social impact innovation idea. You can visit leadindia.us and sign up for that innovation competition. So there's one more thing I would like to bring, why we have to do a private, public, and academic partnerships. As you all know, the United Nations was started on October 24th, 1945, right after the World War II. And they just celebrated their 75th anniversary this year. And UN launched in 2007 to 15 about 8 Millennium Development Goals: eradicate extreme poverty, achieve universal primary education, promote gender equality and empower women, ensure environmental sustainability, develop a global partnerships. But they could not achieve those goals, and they relaunched 17 of those goals again, called Sustainable Development Goals in 2016. And the goal is to achieve those by 2030. That required enormous amount of partnerships as well as financial support. It required about $5 to $7 trillion to achieve these goals. And just in 2016, only 6 countries came up and met those targets. That means the very 25% of what is needed. So we still have a lot of people, about 1.3 billion people still live in multidimensional poverty. More than 1.6 billion people live in fragile settings for healthcare. Over 100 million people, especially youth worldwide, lack basic literacy skills, and 60% of them are women. Only 2/3 of developing countries have achieved gender parity and primary education. Water stress affects more than 2 billion people. To limit global warming to 1.5 degrees centigrade, CO2 emissions must drop by 45% between 2010 and 30, and must reach net zero by 2050. And corruption, bribery, theft of tax evasion, a lot of problems, over $1.26 trillion per year on this. So considering all of these things, very good news is the India government came up with a new education policy recently with a focus on providing students with practical and application knowledge. And all the graduation courses to all the universities will be governed by single autonomous authority. And also they provide any graduation course, if student completes only 1 year, he will get a basic certificate, and there's a graduated way of providing the credits, and also so that they don't lose it. That's a very welcome opportunity. So in order to meet all these things, I put together one program here called The Impact of COVID-19 and Future of Digital Economy. And I'm going to share a few of my slides here just to walk you through. Give me 1 second. So can you see my screen?
Yes, we can.
Yes, thank you. Thank you so much. So the impact of COVID-19, future of digital economy. I picked about 8 different topics here that are most relevant and very appropriate for our JNTU alumni, as well as students who are studying in the colleges right now. Artificial intelligence is the top of the list, then followed by blockchain technology, genetic testing, 5G technology, augmented and virtual reality, cybersecurity, autonomous and electric vehicles, smart cities. Each of these topics, probably Jntuh Alumni Association, I request them to deep dive into by hosting sessions, because these are the most relevant topics for the Industry 4.0 that will create employment opportunities, entrepreneurship opportunities, as well as investment opportunities. So that's very important for us to continue this thread as we make progress on a monthly webinar series. So just to looking at the top 10 AI applications, robot assisted surgery, virtual nursing assistants, administrative workflow assistants, fraud detection, dosage error reduction, connected machines, clinical trial participation, preliminary diagnosis, automated image diagnosis, and cybersecurity. These are the mind-boggling numbers if you look at it, and they are real actually. And it's probably the application of AI in coming up in every field. That means there will be replacement of employment because of the AI. That doesn't mean that they are going to be unemployed. They need to be skilled, reskilled, and upskilled depending on their interest, passion, and industry needs. So there's an opportunity for skill development programs. So there are some of the tools that are used in the AI field for the benefit of our students is the TensorFlow from Google and Microsoft Cognitive Toolkit, and PyTorch from Facebook, Destiny from Amazon, Scikit-learn, and DLab, Keras, Deep Learning for J4 for J. So these are the tools I think that you need to pick up in order to make progress in getting employment or doing some work in the AI field. Artificial intelligence, there are several types of use cases. Every industry has a use case, and the technology advancements, including in deep learning, allow ML and AI to be applied to more business problems. And many of those technology advancements embodied in open source software. That means you don't need to really invest in buying the software, but you should be able to pick up some of these tools and start building your own AI engines and AI platforms. Again, in the financial services sector, there's already probably you are receiving a lot of phone calls and messages from banks and various financial institutions, chatbots and virtual personal assistants, personalized communications and decisions tailored to the customers, streamlining processes, low value processes to be handled by AI and RPA, anomaly and pattern detection in the financial crime prevention, biometrics, workflow and compliance automation. These are some of the areas that are already in use and you are experiencing personally. And the next major shift is happening in the transactions is the blockchain technology. So how the blockchain will transform everything from banking to government to our identities. So again, blockchain is not going to change the world, but blockchain will do what to the financial systems, what the internet did to media. And it is going to simplify and reduce the fraud, increase the speed, and free up capital and stronger relationships between the parties. So again, there are so many areas, smart contracts, digital currency, record keeping, and securities, and the list goes on every possible way. And this is already being used in many ways. And you have many examples of those. I will share some of those things. And just to give you a high level view of how the blockchain technology works, it's a decentralized ledger of all transactions across the peer-to-peer network. Using this technology, participants can perform transactions without the need for central certifying authority. Potential applications include funds transfer, settling trades, voting, and many other use cases. So in this case, someone requests a transaction. The requested transaction is broadcast to a peer-to-peer network consisting of computers known as nodes. And then there will be a validation. The network of nodes validates the transaction and the user status using known algorithms. A verified transaction can involve cryptocurrency, contracts, records, or other information. Once verified, the transaction is combined with other transactions to create a new block of data for the ledger. Then the new block is then added to the existing block in a way that is permanent and unalterable. Then the transaction is marked complete. This is a basic flow of how the blockchain technology works. And there are different types of blockchains and blockchain platforms. It's a public blockchain, which is an equivalent of an internet in 1990s. Bitcoin, Ethereum, and Litecoin, these are the examples of usage of public blockchain. And there's a federated blockchains like R3, B3I, EWF, which is an equivalent of intranet. And then you have private blockchains internal to the companies. So that is, these are the three different types of blockchains, and then there's different blockchain platforms that are in the marketplace: Hyperledger, Ethereum, R3, Ripple, and multi-chain. Then several use cases, as I mentioned before, in retail banks and securities processing, trade finance, insurance, investment banking. I'm just giving in the financial service sector. And again, cross-border payments, securities trading and settlements, securities issuance, service, trade finance, digital identity verification, and syndicated lending. These are some of the use cases that you can think of. Again, the banks already started using the blockchain. Bank of America, Goldman Sachs, JP Morgan Chase, Citibank, and Bank of New York Mellon, which I worked until last December, they have their own cryptocurrency called Bitcoins. As a classic statement, how the blockchain technology and cryptocurrency is being viewed by prominent people. I'm just quoting one example here. In 2007, the JP Morgan CEO, Jamie Dimon's, Bitcoin is a fraud. In 2008, I regret saying that in 2019, he said, welcome JPM coins. That means they started accepting this cryptocurrency and various blockchain technologies. So moving on to the next topic, which is my favorite topic, genetic testing. So this is the now leading the market in the healthcare side. And also one of the vaccine is created using genetic technology. So their genetics tests can help in diagnosing your disease, pinpointing genetic factors that caused your disease, and predict how severe your disease might be, choose the best medicine and corrective dose, and discover genetic factors that increase your disease risk, find genetic factors that could be passed to your children, and screen newborns for certain treatable conditions. Again, proactive predictive diagnosis of diseases, stem cell therapy, regenerative medicine, safer procedures with less manual labor, and individualized and precision medicine. This is going to be the future, and fully customizable body parts with 3D printing, high precision, cheaper and faster cure. These are the ways that genetic technology can come into play. And it has been recognized in 2020. The two scientists, Emmanuel Carpentier and Jennifer A. Doudna, they both received a Nobel Prize in Chemistry for 2020 for creating this DNA editing technology, genetic scissors, a tool for rewriting the code of life. And this gives you a depiction of how the gene editing is going to take place. So there's a nucleus of chromosomes, and there's a guide molecule that will be sent, and a DNA cutting enzyme, and a defective DNA strand is removed, and healthy DNA strand is interjected into this. So this is how the future is going to be. One of the use case I'm personally been very much actively involved is in called sickle cell anemia. This condition is predominantly in the tribal areas, especially in India. Over 40 million people are affected with this condition. Because of the sickle cell anemia disease, the red blood cells harden, and the flow of blood is prevented, and they die at a very young age. And this condition is because of a single gene defect. And using this DNA editing technology, that gene can be eliminated, and we can have without that condition moving forward, if the technology can be cheaper to make sure that reaches the masses. There is about 240 single gene defects have been identified so far, and all of them can be knocked off through this genetic editing testing, editing condition with the technology coming to masses. So it's wonderful to see. And once it is removed, and that is gone for good for the planet. So it's, I think, amazing technology. The next favorite subject, again, you all are experiencing already, the 5G technology, which is going to have a latency will be less than 1 millisecond, enable more efficient signaling for IoT connectivity, more bits per hertz, and enable network hyper densification, multi-Gbps peak rates, and network energy consumption will be optimized. The switch to 5G will mean longer battery life for devices, lower costs, enhanced cellular footprints, And this is going to truly, truly revolutionize, and it's already being used in various ways. And especially in the healthcare side, if a surgeon is looking for a second opinion and the patient is in the operating room, and let's say somebody is working in India doing a surgery and they need a second opinion in a real time, a surgeon from Stanford University or Harvard University can provide guidance while in real time that is happening, and provide the guidance to make sure that it is done appropriately. So these are some of the use cases using, again, 5G is not a new version of 4G. It is a total replacement. That means there's enormous amount of opportunities for 5G in many ways, in the transportation and providing richer contents, in the healthcare, in the housing, and disaster relief, consumer electronics, education, safety, and lifeline systems. Again, and there's so much of business opportunity here to rewrite many of the mobile applications using the 5G technology optimized. It is projected over 12 trillion by 2035. So this is amazing area that our next youngsters can look into for providing employment opportunities, investment opportunities, as well as entrepreneurship opportunities. So the another favorite subject of mine is AR VR technology. So based on the today's COVID conditions, most of the education institutions and learning has to happen through blended learning. And I was talking to one of the professors yesterday. They're having difficulty in hosting this practical exams. So they will not be able to visit those labs. So using the VR technology, those kind of simulated tests can be happening, and they can probably perform online instead of visiting a physical lab. So some of these simulations can take place using the VR technology. And it's an amazing opportunity to provide the content, digital content through VR technology. There are programmable VR glasses also coming up. So you don't need to have an internet connection as well to transmit some of this content to remote areas, especially countries like India and Africa. So the opportunities here is about over $35 billion market here in different sectors. Healthcare, engineering, real estate, retail, military, and especially education is very relevant in today's COVID conditions. So the next subject is, since most of us are online, so the cyber security has become a challenge to make sure that our transactions and our conversations are secured. So this is another area. There's a lot of requirement for employment, entrepreneurship, as well as investment opportunities for. So there's information security, network security, operational security, application security, and business continuity and disaster recovery, risk management, security awareness. Training itself is a big area that we can look into it. Again, as I mentioned before, each of these 8 different areas can have a deep dive sessions to provide more insights into it and provide the opportunities to our youngsters. Then the next one, as you all can see, the electric vehicles and autonomous driverless cars. This is another area that's very much evolving because of the road conditions in India. The autonomous driving may not be applicable, but electric vehicles is a need of the hour to reduce the carbon footprint on this planet, to make sure that this planet is preserved and protected for our future generations. I think most of the governments in India already mandated that by 2030, they want to replace all the carbon emitting vehicles into IC engined vehicles replaced with the electric vehicles, and that is already taking good shape. And in Hyderabad, if I remember correctly, there is about 40 buses already taking the people from the city to the airports, I think, and also a lot of electric vehicles are making inroads into the Indian roads. Again, as you can see, Tesla stock is going up and up and breaking records. Then the next major area, especially in the Indian context, is the smart cities. India has announced over 99 smart cities, and in 21 different areas they are looking at e-governance and citizen services, waste management, water management, energy management, and urban mobility, and also in others like telemedicine, incubation, trade facilitation centers, and skill development centers. So this is an enormous amount of opportunity. It was projected like this market for just for India is about $1.2 trillion. It requires a lot of industry 4.0 technology intervention to make sure that our cities are smart in terms of waste to energy, waste to compost, wastewater, and smart meters, leakage identification, and renewable source of energy, smart parking, intelligent traffic management. Some of these things are very relevant for our congested roads. And let me give you some, what is happening in this space. Enormous amount of opportunity for innovation, entrepreneurship, as well as investment. The government was able to provide only close to $30 billion so far, but it's over $1 trillion industry. So a lot of PPP, private-public partnership, is required here to make sure that the smart cities, about 99 of them, they did in 4 different rounds. In round 1, about 20 cities. In round 2, round 3, and round 4, a total of 99 smart cities. Bombay opted out of it, otherwise it would have been 100 smart cities. And in the Telugu states, we have Karimnagar and Warangal in Telangana, Kakinada, Visakhapatnam, and Tirupati in Andhra Pradesh, about 5 of those smart cities in just both the Telugu states. So with this, based on the time given to me, I would like to pause here, and I would like to again congratulate the JNTU Alumni Association in USA chapter in particular for initiating this monthly webinar series, very relevant and timely and appropriate to offer some of these very appropriate courses and also insights from experts to encourage our youngsters not to lose hope and use this time to think differently. And instead of coming up with a resume at the end of your graduation, come up with a business plan to become an entrepreneur. And if the idea is good, money is not an issue, mentorship is not an issue, and you will be able to succeed. Just don't give up, be confident, and pursue your passion. Don't look for a secure job, but if you can pursue your passion, that's what Dr. Kalam believed in, that you could be successful and you can be contented as well at the same time. So it is more important to make sure that you pursue a passion. Again, I would like to thank Subhash for joining back again, and I would like to look forward to hearing from him. Again, personally, I would like to thank Jayesh Ranjanji for joining us today, as well as our registrar, Dr. Manzoor Hussain, for advertising this event to across all the affiliated colleges, as well as constituent colleges. And a lot of people are watching on YouTube this session. This session will be recorded and will be available. Again, I'm very fortunate to have served as, I'm serving as the chairman of the JNTU Alumni Association and a global ambassador. I would like to look forward to talking to each one of you to establish different chapters in different parts of the world, to bring about 18 lakh students who completed from JNTU. We would like to bring them back to under one umbrella called JNTU Alumni Association to give back to our community and give back to our alumni and give back to our nation, whatever way we can. Again, thank you so much for giving me this opportunity.
Thank you, Dr. Hari Panapalli. That was a very, very extensive and elaborate view of the emerging technologies, very, very relevant to transform the digital age. And it goes completely in line with the theme of the day, which is how can you think of disruptive entrepreneurship in this area? You've covered a variety of aspects which really require reshaping of the public-private enterprise relationships, as well as the academic and commercial relationships, etc. And every single area you covered, from artificial intelligence, AR, MR, blockchain, all the way through cybersecurity and smart cities, very relevant for the future, present and the future. His great guidance and mentoring, I think it's been very valuable and very motivational. I think our students and rest of the alumni will find great value in your presentation. Thank you, Dr. Harigar, once again. There have been great comments in the chats reflecting the wonderful information. Thank you once again. And I welcome Dr. Subhash back. We had some technical challenges earlier. So back to Dr. Subhash to continue the theme of disruptive entrepreneurship.
Thank you. I'm really sorry about this. It just blanked out my computer, but I recovered it. So I'm sharing my screen again. So let me go through that one more time. So I can see it now, the screen? Yeah.
Yeah.
Great. Okay. Excellent. So yeah, I started off with giving a little bit of background of myself, and I've gone through it. My father was an entrepreneur in India. He was a chemical engineer, started a chemical factory and some schools, and I learned a lot of tricks of trade while growing up. How he quit his permanent job and started his own company, and it always stayed with me, to do that when I mature myself. So, and as I was mentioning, entrepreneurship is not possible just by a single person trying to do it. There are many people who would join the queue and help people who are dreaming big. And in my case, it was G.V. Prasad, who is, chairman and CEO of Dr. Reddy's. And, the first day I met him, he wrote a check when I was still daydreaming, if you want. And his big advice was to think big. And I was mentioning, I came to Australia, pursued my PhD in aerospace engineering. I went to Harvard to do some robotics, really learned the core of technology. And I was one of the youngest professors in Australia. And UTS was University of Technology Sydney, made me a professor in 2002-3, that time frame. We incubated our company there. So some of the students, my own PhD students at the time, we spun off the company, and they're still with me in the, at Sensen. This is our early team. And one of the points I wanted to mention here is that, without knowing how complex the world is, we thought all R&D is finished and the product is ready and we'll all be successful back in 2007. And I can tell you right now that we're still building the product. So the moral of the story is that building products in a lab to building products that actually work and be sellable, there's a big gap, and we learned it the hard way. And as I was mentioning, the home environment had to be very conducive. My wife was very supportive to help in this entrepreneurial journey. And I also mentioned that, in my case, I was very lucky to have Surendra, who was a very good friend in Jntuh-Aa-Usa-Webinar as well. And he joined, to support me while I was going through the plans. And he's still with us. He's the director of operations in the company today. Because of the particular backgrounds any entrepreneur comes with, in my case, I was really pursuing an academic career, trying to write books and papers. I wrote over 150 papers and a book by the time I started the company. We really needed people who has done it before, who knows how to raise enough capital, how to launch products, to be on your side to keep guiding along the way. But one very interesting observation here is mentoring entrepreneurs is an oxymoron, meaning, entrepreneurs are by definition very strong-headed and they have very strong ideas, almost unmentorable. But it's very important to have an attitude to learn from others, and that actually is central to become a successful entrepreneur. Satish Gupta, he's, who's shown here, he would pick up a phone every day. He will travel 6 to 8 weeks from California to Melbourne, and then sit with us. He was from MIT and Stanford, and he did his own startup before. So there's a lot of guidance that went into helping build the company. These were the memories of getting a first check from an investor within university, where Zenon, he was building a fund or managing a fund called Safed Capital, and we raised our first investment. And then a lot of people helped along the way, because raising money in Australia was very hard. The seed funds were good, but we didn't get it was not easy to raise the growth capital. Every country has its own unique challenges. That's one of the reasons I put up this slide, because in India, you have different challenges. If you're trying to be an entrepreneur from Singapore, you have different challenges. US has different challenges. And what I wanted to highlight there is every entrepreneur will find their own solution, so they will have to work within the constraints of the environment, but still keep moving forward, right? So in my case, quite a few people came to help, and after a few attempts, we finally found our foot. This was in 2017. I was on the Financial Review. We raised about $20 million so far to fund the business from incubation to current growth. Okay. We are now being referred to as a Robocop, because a lot of our technology is in smart cities, making sure the cities operate smoothly, and so on. So many people would think that, okay, once you raise the money, that you are successful, okay? And a lot of people think, especially the young people coming out of the universities, because of the news coverage and type of press that people attract when they raise funds, they think raising money is success, okay? But and a lot of people think it's a glamorous life, after you raise money. But honestly, it is about, everybody thinks you are doing well, but you are cutting midnight oil. A lot of obstacles will be there in your path, where the business plan is not fully complete. Your product is untested. The market, you don't know whether the market will buy the product that you are developing. Funding is never sufficient. You will always underestimate the amount of money it takes to really release the product. But if you're raising more money, then you should be having business outcome that can fund the growth and return the money to the shareholders. So it takes you from a comfortable technology area into equity negotiations, business negotiations, and cost controls and governance, whole bunch of things that are not really taught in your university. So today, I want to kind of highlight what kind of technology Sensen deals with, right? So we are pretty much world leaders in developing AI-based solutions, in relation to smart cities and corporations as well. So we deal with cameras and computer vision. We deal with IoT and sensing. We deal with deep machine learning. We have a lot of cloud computing technology. I was the world leader in a area called data fusion and object tracking. So this is actually core IP that I brought to this field, and then quite a bit of data science. We packaged all of that into this platform called Jntuh-Aa-Usa. This is the platform. It's a multi-sensor data fusion platform. It can inject data from cameras, smartphones, all kinds of sensors. And on the other end, you have market-specific solutions where you can deliver road safety or tolling solutions or parking solutions or traffic analytic solutions. We even have products in casinos and shopping centers and so on. So it's one of the unique platforms, in the world that's highly scalable. we have a team of over 120 people in the world, and actually about 90 plus are in Hyderabad. In fact, we have an office in Banjara Hills area where quite a big team of deep machine learning training guys are there, annotation guys, cloud guys, and we support all the worldwide customers from there. So again, in one of the challenges when you are trying to build a business and trying to take your product to market, how do you pick your market? Where do you focus? Because there are so many different use cases and applications that your technology can have. And in the early days, we were doing anything and everything because, as I said, in Australia, trying to raise money after the seed round was very hard. So we had to pick up contracts from everywhere. Okay, and because of the mentor I had, Satish, who was with me, he would always bring the question back and say, if you have to scale and disrupt the market, we got to be focused. Okay, and we did focus eventually, and we focused a lot on smart cities. The over 200 smart cities in our target list. This is all the list of global cities who are our customers, from Trondheim and Copenhagen, Brisbane, Singapore, and many cities like that. Just to give an idea what kind of product we do, is one of the products and gives you an idea what we do.
In our increasingly urbanized world, keeping roads safe and congestion-free requires cities to enforce hundreds of bylaws needed to regulate traffic and parking. Until now, this has predominantly been done manually by city officers walking the streets watching out for offenders. Legacy technologies, such as license plate recognition, are of limited use. They can enforce bylaws related to paid parking, permits, and time-limited parking, but they are incapable of automating enforcement of many other bylaws, such as no stopping zones, clearways, single and double yellow line zones, bus zones, school zones, and more. At Sensen Networks, we've changed all that. Thanks to our data fusion and AI innovations, we're setting new standards for parking by automating enforcement of all bylaws associated with parking on city streets. Through a combination of environment mapping technology and deep machine learning, we are able to identify, understand, and analyze street signs, buildings, and landmarks to determine the exact location of parked vehicles and whether they comply with the corresponding bylaws. Dynamically and in real time, we detect parked vehicles and determine their location in relation to bespoke zones, such as bus lanes, clearways, and no parking zones. Every type of zone administered within a city is understood and mapped. Working automatically, our software sorts every detected vehicle by type, such as cars, buses, taxis, even Ubers. Our total solution package can even detect other objects of interest, like abandoned scooters, bicycles, and other personal mobility vehicles, or even illegal dumping on the roads. Whenever we detect people, we naturally mask their faces to comply with privacy regulations. Once a bylaw violation is identified, only then does our system capture license plate information and send real-time notifications to be actioned. And our system makes intelligent decisions about the actual scenarios and events taking place, alerting officers to ensure there is a fast response to any potential wrongdoing. Working seamlessly, our fully automated end-to-end mobile enforcement system does all the hard work, allowing traffic enforcement officers to stay within the safety of their vehicle. No more abuse, no more wasted time or money. Eliminate the need for foot patrol wardens, but much more job enjoyment. Say hello to automated enforcement for hundreds of bylaws, no matter the city, council, state, or country. Welcome to the future of automated enforcement. Ingenuity by design. Sensen Networks.
That gives you a bit of an idea on what we do. This is from Singapore. So this
Now,
gives you
if
an
you're
idea
a
of what we're
driver,
doing
you
there.
might want to think twice the next time you consider parking illegally. The Land Transport Authority will be installing closed-circuit television cameras at 30 locations to discourage you from doing just that. The LTA decided to extend the use of CCTVs after trials along Beach Road and Marine Parade Central proved successful. LTA said the cameras managed to catch those who parked illegally, and traffic conditions improved over time. The new CCTVs will be installed gradually from the second quarter of this year. Some of the new
So that kind of gives you a bit of an idea. This is our Las Vegas deployment in 2020. We finally entered US. The entire fleet of City of Las Vegas, on their cars, they have different systems that sit on it, and that's happening. I would say that it is a proud moment for us to, just 1 second. It is indeed a proud moment for us to be able to, this one, for us to have a solution that is, covered in a foreign language that we cannot read. Okay, this is from Trondheim and so on. So finally, we also added what we call as dream cities, which is casinos, and this video just covers what we do in casinos.
In the gaming sector, Sen works with some of the world's leading casinos to deliver innovative, smart gaming solutions designed to drive efficiency and increase revenue. Through its Sen Game solution, casinos can now leverage the power of AI and deep machine learning to analyze specific gameplay scenarios to make real-time, highly accurate assessments. What's more, because of Sen Game's unique retrofit design, casinos can avoid costly and disruptive installations, and instead get immediate access to insights and data such as table occupancy, game start and finish times, hands per hour, bet analysis, including side bets, and stack value, even with mixed chips or dirty stacks. For casinos, this provides invaluable data to measure and set KPIs and improve the overall customer experience. Sen Game also offers a range of bespoke and future applications, including the ability to track cards to determine game outcome, capture cash exchanges, monitor floats in real time, and enable bet attribution to both rated and unrated players. What's more, our solution works seamlessly with other gaming software providers. So why not let Sen lift your game?
So today we are in US, North America, Canada, Europe, Dubai, and Middle East, Philippines, Singapore, Australia. We obviously have operations in India, and we're slowly grown to 70 million in market cap. My aim is to go to 700 million in the next few years. We want to list on NASDAQ. So my entrepreneurship journey is still on, and we're still pushing ahead. Some of my thoughts on entrepreneurship to close my presentation are, some of the people consider entrepreneurship is irrational. Okay, the reason for that is that natural things like birds fly and fish swim, startups die, and a lot of them die. Okay, and you are considered incredibly lucky if you succeed, and you will be made responsible if you fail. So people do ask a question: are entrepreneurs irrational of some kind? All right. And if you really dig down into it, entrepreneurship is all about pursuing something for passion, almost without regard to resources, results, or odds stacked against you. It's really lonely when you really look at because you are the only one who's seeing the opportunity, and a lot of people around you don't see it, and that makes it very hard to raise money or all those things. Okay, it's remarkable ability to keep faith when things are not looking up, and all kinds of challenges. You should have the passion to get through. Okay, so people ask, is it for me? Is entrepreneurship for everybody? So honestly, it's not for everybody. There are certain things you need to have. if people pursue it for passion, then go for it. Because without passion, it's impossible to survive the odds that are stacked against you. Because taking other people's money and not returning is not a pleasant thing to have. Okay, so unless you have a way to return that and multiply the money, it's a tough deal. Okay, so it can be very stressful for people. So I put entrepreneurship on the same pedestal as passion, love, those kind of intangibles, because I'm a technology entrepreneur. My wife often calls me as an irrational man for this reason, but she still loves me anyway. So, and I call her irrational because she loves me an irrational man. So with that, I will leave the table for questions if anyone has any questions.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Actually, I'm very impressed. I'm very proud that you're from JNTU, that we got hold of you from Australia and you were able to join us today, shared your success story. I'm sure this has inspired many of our alumni as well as the students who are watching the show today. Really, really impressed. And I look forward to personally talking to you on this venture that you have created, and you already entered into US. Anyway, we can assist you in the US or any other part of the world. We will be happy to do so. I think it's in line with what I was dreaming of, and you have shown a product that is working on the streets. Very impressive, Subhash. Very proud to see you here. Thank you for spending the time when it's late in Australia. I was in Australia on March 9th last year as a inaugural keynote speaker for the Australian CIO conference in Sydney, actually, for 3 days.
Okay. We didn't
I
know.
wish I got connected. I would have met you there. But anyway, thank you so much for joining us. Back to you, Swami and Praveen.
Yeah, thank you, Subhash. It was wonderful. I know you've shown us a glimpse of how entrepreneurs' troubles goes off with technical difficulty. You disappeared, and we really saw how much difficulty one has to go through. And you have doing a lonely battle in the night, even when everyone is sleeping at your home. And as a founding president of JNTU alumni from USA chapter, we definitely want to encourage whatever the support we can from USA. So now, with this alumni, you are not alone. You are no more alone. So we are a group of people are here. So it is all our network, our company, and how we can support each other. And we'll definitely, that's why this alumni chapter, even though it is after 50 years, we have started a good note. We have started this inauguration. We started this webinar series. Two thumping speakers. I mean, Harigar is always a great energetic person who showed the digital economy, and now you showed how to make that economy into going into the wallets of your own and also to the community, and also making people to be a good citizens and civilians, right? So with that products and the AI, a lot of things are can be achieved, and it is a great motivational information to all others. Definitely it is all about irrational. So thank you so much, Subhash, and we'll definitely continue, and we would like to see another chapter in Australia, because Hari Garu is on a mission to start different chapters across the globe, because we have 18 lakh people of JNTU, and we want them to be available on our common platform of alumni, so that we all can share each other, either an entrepreneur or giving a job or invention. And we want to see many, many Nobel laureates. There are different things we can do as an alumni. So please, please, please make sure you sign up as a member. Go to www.jntuh.org and make sure you're a member. Not only become a member, but today, please, everybody take a vote that at least you share this information to at least 10 to 15 people of your own network and make them members, because it's all free. The goal is to bring everybody as a common platform and then make sure we're all doing. So Praveen, thanks for hosting this webinar. So please continue the rest of the program, and we'll be concluding this session soon, but please stay on. There are a few more things we need to capture and cover.
Before we go further, I would like to recognize the presence of few people from JNTU administration side. We have Dr. B.N. Bhandari, the principal of the JNTU College of Engineering in Hyderabad. He is also on the session. And also we have Dr. Sindhu, who is the director for one of the programs in JNTU Hyderabad. We also have, I think Madhavi Lata may be here too, as well as she is the coordinator for the JNTU Hyderabad Alumni Association. would like to thank them personally and as well as on behalf of the JNTU Alumni Association, thank them for joining us today. And if any of you want to share a few minutes, please, Dr. Bhandari and Dr. Sindhu, let us know. We will be happy to have you speak for a couple of minutes. So back to you, Praveen.
Thank you. Thank you, Dr. Hari, as well as Swami, for your comments. I'd like to quickly summarize. It's actually 3:34 a.m. in Australia, just as an FYI for everybody. And it's amazing that Subhash, despite the challenges, you've shown, I think, in practice, what it takes to be an entrepreneur, right? Be persistent, be passionate, never let go of your goal, be rational, again, in focus of that pursuit.
If you fail, you still have to come back after you fail and then come try again.
Absolutely.
Till you
Absolutely.
succeed.
I think you also are very inspirational for our students as well as alumni, because you have succeeded both on the academic side and the professional side. And wishing you continued success and looking forward to partnering with you. And I think in one sentence, if I have to summarize what we have learned from Dr. Subhash's presentation is think differently, think independently, and persistently and innovatively. So
what happens when someone learns more from their friends? So Praveen is also learning from Subhash, so he's also going a little bit glitches on the technical. So it just, you don't need to be copy to copy, Praveen. So you can be more better.
So I just want to mention that if people are trying to launch onto entrepreneurship side in our JNTU alumni, I'm very happy to provide my advice and insight to people, and I can lock in some time for people to reach out to me and spend some time on a weekly basis. Or I'm slowly getting to the next phase of life where all the learnings of 15 years I can now start rolling over to the next generation. So.
Definitely. I think we look forward to your mentorship. There's a very limited time for us on this planet, so we need to unload as much as possible so that our journey to the next planet becomes easy. Subhash, let's do that. I also would like to recognize presence of some of our JNTU Alumni Association leadership team here. Kumar Rani is here, Srinivas Ayuni is here, and Faniraj is also here. So just wanted to recognize their presence and their valued services to the organization. Thank you so much for joining us.
Absolutely. Thank you once again, Dr. Hari and Dr. Subhash, for your keynotes. And I'd turn it over to Mr. Sudhakar, our treasurer for Jntuh Alumni Association, for closing remarks.
Thank you, Praveen, and thank you, Hari Eppanapalli, our chairman. And first, I wanted to just reiterate some of the objectives and goals of JNTU Alumni Association. And our main goals are enhance the skills of JNTU Hyderabad Alumni Association students, and expand the network and elevate the image of JNTU Hyderabad and the brand name of the JNTU. In addition, we also have the exchange programs. We have the recognitions. We want to encourage entrepreneurs, and also we wanted to embrace the diversity. So I want all of you, again, please visit jntuh.org and become a member and part of this big journey. And just to say, like, this is the first program we started after forming this JNTU Alumni Association of USA, and our sincere thanks to Mr. Jayesh Ranjan, IAS, to be a chief guest for this inaugural event and encouraging us to come up with these types of webinars. And we are going to have every month, second Saturday, we have a webinar. And other one is really, I thank our inaugural keynote speaker, Dr. Subhash Challa, founder and CEO of Sense Networks, and valedictory keynote by Dr. Hari Eppanapalli, and very encouraging and energizing welcome speech by President Mr. Swami, and also organizing this event in a nice way, Praveen, Director Praveen Nidumolu, and all the dignitaries of JNTU Hyderabad, Professor Manjur Hussain, and many other dignitaries from there. And I just wanted to reiterate a few things told by our speakers. Like first one is Mr. Subhash, and he said he explained the rationality behavior. He explained the rationality for his irrational behavior, right? And extraordinary journey he had, and how he succeeded, and really worked hard to bring this amazing platform. And he's saying like, think big, and really find an angel investor, and you need an exciting vision to really succeed, and you need a mentor. And he said like, even though you are an entrepreneur, you still need a mentor to really succeed in the life. And really he gave an excellent overview of this Sendisa platform, and also a game-changing Send game platform. Seems to be very, very interesting. I didn't really know until now that you can use this type of technology even in the gambling also. So it's very, very interesting.
Watch the gamblers, not gambling.
Slight difference there. Thanks for correcting, Subhash.
Watch the so, but it's an amazing technology. I mean, something like think different, right? So this, you are thinking different. So it's always, if you want to succeed, you think different. If you think like any other, then you can't really succeed. You have to think something different, right? So that's a creativity, and the creativity always succeeds. And if you want your creativity to succeed, you really need someone to encourage you. And you got the encouragement, you got the funding, you have the mentorship, and then really you worked hard. And as Praveen said, at 2 a.m., you're attending the seminar, you are trying to explain, you're trying to show what you did, what you achieved. That's amazing, right? So kudos to all the hard work you are doing, and we wish you all the best. I'm sure you will succeed. And this is again a forum where you could really expand your network, and then also venture more and more into the US. So I'm sure everyone is looking at it. And even in India, we are thinking about smart cities a lot. So smart cities a lot, and there's a lot of scope. I mean, especially if you see all the traffic in Hyderabad, any other India cities, we definitely need more and more technology. And this type of innovation technology is going to solve a lot of such headaches governments are facing all over the world, right? And coming to Dr. Hari, I don't have to give any more introduction about him. Everyone knows who is Dr. Hari and what he did. And I really don't know how he finds time to really spread across so many things and really motivates the people. He's a great speaker and really a great innovator. So he's everything, I would say. And he clearly explained how the pandemic has created the challenges and opportunities. So when there is a challenge, there is an opportunity. And the pandemic really, if this pandemic might have happened like maybe 50 years back, I'm sure millions of people might have died. The technology, the innovation, and that is making the people to be really surviving in this pandemic. And the technology and this intelligence helped us to create a vaccine in less than 1 year. That's amazing. And we are finally seeing a light at the end of the tunnel. And I'm sure like in the next few months, we will just say, okay, pandemic, it was a pandemic and it's over. And the life, I have high hopes that the life will be back to the normal, at least in the next few months. So, and he has given a lot of insights into several technologies, which are really amazing and great technologies. We all need to understand, learn, and really need to know it. I have seen like about 30 or 40 years back, I've seen the politicians coming into the road saying that don't computerize, you will lose the jobs. But see now, where like the technology, how it morphed the world, how it morphed India. So it has created so much of opportunities and so many jobs and really helping the progress of the nation. So definitely these technologies are going to help us and they are going to have better living. And like he has explained about the technologies like artificial intelligence and blockchain and genetic testing, 5G networks, virtual reality, cybersecurity, electric vehicles, and smart cities. Each concept itself is amazing. And whether you like it or not, these technologies are going to be part of our life. And maybe 20 years back, no one thought that the cell phone is going to become something without, you can't live without it. So these technologies are going to change the world, and in next few years or maybe more, you will see how the things are changing. So really the genetic testing and changing the DNA is something we can't even think of, right? So he has given a great insights into artificial intelligence. And Dr. Harigar, I would suggest that we need to have more sessions. Like you gave a gist of each of the technology. I think in future, we should have a detailed session on artificial intelligence, 5G. That's definitely going to help a lot of students to understand and really look at it. This is the technology I want to excel, or I wanted to venture into. So I'm sure this is going to provide a lot of help to JNTU alumni, and not just JNTU. These webinars are open even for non-JNTUs also. So I'm very happy to have this great session as a starting session of this organization. And once again, I request all the Jntuh alumni to really be part of this organization, and you expand the network, communicate about the organization to your friends, and let's all progress, and let's all make this organization success, and also make this really help the students to succeed in their career and in their future. And thank you all.
So thank you, Sudhakar. I would like to also announce the presence of Dr. Shankaran Menon, who is also a Jntuh alumni from Texas, who is joining us today. Thank you so much for joining us. Swami, let's open the forum for some questions and answers from the people who are on the Zoom.
Correct. So I just want to say, first of all, a couple of things I just want to mention before we forget. Thanks, Sudhakar, for giving the information. And Sudhakar Garu is our treasurer of Jntuh alumni. It is a free membership, and we also filed for 501c3 organization, which is a non-profit. So we also, obviously people who have been settled and who want to contribute for the great things what we are working with the Jntuh University back in India. So there is always some support is needed financially. So feel free to share any of amounts towards Jntuh. You can get all the information from Sudhakar Garu, and it is all tax deductible. And we'll be sharing more information on that. Now, as so many people have joined globally, so we would like to have a 5 to 10 minutes open session. So if anybody wants to speak on, share their experiences, or they have any questions, or they want to comment, use this time so that in 10 minutes we'll wrap up and close the session. I know it is a weekend and late in the evening. And Subhash, thank you. If you need to go back to bed, please go ahead and at least enjoy your sleep. But the rest of the people, if you have anything, please jump in. You can unmute and just say your name and where you are, and then say a couple of minutes, and then we can pass it on the mic. Thank you so much.
I also want to acknowledge Dr. Shankaran, as Hari mentioned. He's a scientist in Intel in Texas, Austin, Texas. And also,
Dr. Shankaran, if you are here, why don't you just introduce yourself, please?
Also, Parthasarathi is was also my batchmate, and he's a professor in BITS Pilani, and also BITS Hyderabad, and is also an entrepreneur. So nice. I would like to people into our group. And Shankaran, you want to say?
Oh, yes. Thank you very much, Krishna Kumar and Hari and everybody on the webinar. I don't know if you're able to hear me because I'm using the computer microphone rather than the headset.
Yes, we can hear you.
Okay, great. I think we are off to a great start. You all have done an awesome job. And as Krishna Kumar said, our friendship goes long, long back from MTech days. And so we've been together for a long time. I'm here in Austin, Texas. I've been a professor at a university before, and then I moved to Texas Instruments in Dallas, and then I'm in Austin. I've been in Austin for the last 21 years. So any help needed, I'm here. I'd be more than happy to participate and provide my support and help. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Dr. Shankaran. We look forward to your leadership, and we'll add you to the leadership group, and we welcome you.
Parthardi, do you want to say a few words?
So Dr. Shankaran, we have two people from Texas have joined as alumni leadership, Srinivas Garu and Pani Garu, and they both will be reaching out. So we are going to form a different regions within the US so that we all can accommodate everybody's timing, time zones, locations, so that we get to know each other, so that we can have of course, post-COVID, we can have more in-person meetings in the geographic area. So we can have something in the Texas area, something in the Florida area, something in the California area. So we are planning to have all those things. So it is definitely a great kickstart, and good to see all of you being here. So Srinivas Garu, Fani Garu, if you need to say anything, please unmute and talk about.
Thank you for the opportunity, Swami Garu. I think the last 1 hour, 45 minutes has been, I would say, very, very informative, innovative, inspiring, and so happy and for all ages. I think there are students who are attending, there are faculty, there are senior members. We had Jayesh Ranjan ji come from bureaucratic setup, and also who is also the Vice Chancellor. So all in all, we had a diaspora of very, very great thought leadership here. So we are so fortunate that we all are part of this JNTU alumni, and contributing, sharing, and caring for each one of us, and helping each other. And not to forget Subhash ji from Australia. What a brilliant innovation presentation. So all in all, I think these sessions are a stepping stone for all of us at various levels of our careers and times, to really help understand what is currently happening, what is the future, and how to deal with the situation. As I think Sudhakar Garu put it, every challenge gives us an opportunity. So very truly, and under the inspiring leadership of all of you, Hariji, and globally, and Swami, and all of you, I think we will be able to do better and better as we move along, and give so much information to all of us. So I'm deeply, greatly excited, and very, very happy that the morning of the weekend started with such a great information. So thank you so much. We are all part of it, and we'll make it great and greater. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you so much. So we have also Dr. Faniraj from Texas.
Hi all. Good morning and good evening all. This is really kickstart. This is a really kickstart of our Jntuh Alumni Association. Just really is the real kickstart. It is very good. This launching pad for every student, every entrepreneur, every employee, and all the all the walks of the life people, so that we can help each other. This is individual growth. It is nothing just like that. It is the growth of our state, Telangana, and growth of our country, Bharat. So definitely we'll be here, and that I'll be working closely with all that, so that who are in this Texas, as our president, the Swami Garu mentioned. So definitely in coming days, we will have the regional wise, that we will collect the people, get them into this association, and we will get growth. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Fani Garu. Appreciate it, because the most important is I want to make sure all the people who are on the call go and log on to jntu.org, jntuh.org, and make sure you are becoming members, so that we can do all the communications here. And if anyone else want to speak the next couple of minutes, please go ahead, so that we can wrap up and close it. Anyone else want to say anything? Please unmute and.
I want to tell Subhash, please start gathering our JNTU alumni within your reach in Australia, so that the next overseas chapter launch can be Australia. I think we will start from the Far East and then start moving. So if you could take that leadership, and let's get started by early next year, January or February, we can initiate that Australian chapter. Thank you.
Will do.
And we have Nag Akkala Devi. Can you introduce Nag yourself?
Hi everyone. This is Nag Raj Akkala Devi. I'm based out of Houston in Texas. I say there are a couple from Texas. Coming back to me, into a consulting, into software side, I do consulting with companies around the United States, and so I'll be in Houston, and I can be actually with the team, and we can have. I think we can have a Texas chapter where we can work through and be part of this the great association that is coming towards into Jntuh alumni. So nice to see you all here and hear your talk. That'll be great, and definitely we'll go forward, and I'll be part of that. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you. Thank you so much. So this is like a family session now. Please don't be shy. Just unmute yourself and introduce and share your thoughts.
Harigaru, I want to introduce one other person.
Go ahead.
Abdul Haq, he was my batchmate and also a colleague in HAL, was my colleague engineer. And he lives in upstate New York. He joined and Haq, you want to say a few words?
Yeah, don't feel shy. This is a family, a Jntuh family, so please unmute and talk.
They were not ready. That's why probably they are thinking, but just you continue. Yeah.
Okay. Sounds good. So just on the interest of the time, if there is no one else to speak, Dr. Sindhu Garu, Bandari Garu, if anybody from the Jntuh faculty, if anybody wants to say anything, please share it. We'll be just concluding this session, and it was a fantastic event. So just give another 30 seconds. Anybody wants to unmute and say anything, please go ahead. Otherwise, we'll just conclude and end the session.
Yeah, Dr.
Yeah, well, I would
Sindhu,
like
go ahead,
to
please.
say,
Yeah, please go ahead.
yeah, it was a great job, sir, as I've commented, and we are very happy that it triggered off, and all the students, they're on YouTube, seeing, getting inspired. Dr. Hari Ippanapalli and Dr. Subhash Garu also really have contributed, and we have started BTech programs in this direction. I think we will definitely motivate our students and alumni to attend these webinars. Thanks a lot for giving me opportunity.
Thank you so much, ma'am.
You can always work out some separate sessions for the students who are taking this entrepreneurship or any of the innovative classes. We need some feedback. We need what all you're doing, because we have a wealth of information and the speakers. We want to align the right information and right speakers, so that it is not just because we have it on the calendar, we don't want to run it. We want to run it with due diligently, with a focus of making sure it is informative to everybody. And we are also not just going to be doing only computer science. We value all other branches, so there will be a lot of other things also will be coming for mechanical, electrical, civil, any other branch, whichever Jntuh is being offered or affiliated colleges. So we all working as that mission. So your information, your inputs, and your interest always motivate us to find the right content and the right people to share it on this platform.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you so much, ma'am. We want to make sure that our talk also walks on the and makes a difference in somebody's life. I think that's very important. And we have Dr. Aleti Padma. Could you please introduce yourself and then share a few thoughts? Parthasarathi. Then we have Srikant Malladi, Suganeshwar, Vishwanath Narahari, Murali Krishna. Please, let's 2 more minutes. We will wrap up in 2 minutes.
Yeah, it's 11:58, so 2 minutes we'll be wrapping up. I know some of the people are not dressed up or anything, so don't worry. You don't need to show your face. You can talk. You can.
Yeah. So Swami, good evening and good morning. Yeah, good evening and good morning, everyone. My sincere thanks to Dr. Hari and Dr. Subhash for sharing their wonderful experiences and discussing on the latest or emerging technologies. So certainly we will support you, and it's a good startup so that we can move forward, and we'll involve many students also, so that these technologies would reach certainly to our students, and we should motivate our students. Thank you very much for giving me this opportunity.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Dr. Bandari. Just for the information to all the people, Dr. Bandari is the principal of the Jntuh College of Engineering in the campus, and most of us graduated from there. And thank you, sir, for joining us today. and supporting and guiding us.
So
Thank you
Harigaru,
very
not
much.
only we graduated from College of Engineering, Bandari Garu was also one of our faculty when we were studying. So it was always
Yeah.
good to see
Yeah.
as an alumni and a faculty. So very nice to sir. So we are all stars because you made us to become the stars. So thank you so much.
Thank
for
you.
the
Thank
great
you very
work
much.
you have done.
Thank you very much, Swamiji. Thank you very much. Thank you.
Okay.
Okay, are there any final comments before we wrap up for today? Okay, if not, just in quick conclusion, one of the reasons this topic was picked because it is relevant for students as well as alumni, entrepreneurship and the technologies in the digital age. We'll continue to bring such topics. Please include your comments and feedback at jntuh.org. We'll take that input, and don't forget, second Saturdays, 10 a.m. Eastern time, going forward every month.
So next one is 9th, right, Praveen? 9th January?
Yes. Next one is January the 9th at 10 a.m. Eastern. Happy New Year, everyone.
So
Thank you all.
Vishwanath, you want to say something? Please go ahead.
Oh, thanks, Andy Harigaru. This is nice. Like I always said, I just want to give opportunity to others. That's why I did not talk much. So thank you, everybody, and looking forward for the next meeting. That is January 9th. And Happy New Year to one and all.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Again, just want to let you know that the JNTU Alumni Association at the university level, we launched on November 15th. Now we are trying to set up the various chapters around the world, and also within US, we need several chapters, and Texas already came forward to start the new chapter. Thank you so much for the Texas team who joined us today and agreed to initiate the chapter. Thank you so much. And also we're going to launch the Australian chapter. Every session, if we could do 2 chapters, that would be wonderful, Praveen. So that's how we need to line up speakers from different parts of the world, right? The next, I think we need to, again, this is your platform, friends, and please bring in speakers and bring in topics, and you take the lead to host these sessions. We just kickstarted this, but we are putting in your hands. We have structured, we created a framework, and we have a technology in place already to seamlessly launch these sessions every month. If we need to have an ad hoc session, we can always do that as well, but let's go with the monthly sessions. Thank you so much for Praveen for taking the initiation to get this done. And thank you, Swami, being the president and providing us the guidance. And Sudhakar is going to be the person who is going to handle the money. So I encourage all of you to write some checks to Sudhakar for the Jntuh Alumni Association. And he's already filing the 501c3, so your tax donations will be deductible. So thank you so much for everybody. And we look forward to joining again on January 9th. And we need your input, feedback, and also sign up on the website www.jntuh.org. You can get all the information about the next session and also all the developments happening. One more thing I would like to mention very clearly is we have announced a very large project on campus as a give back to the university. We are building a Jntuh Alumni Association building, which is about half-acre lot with 50,000 square foot with a mini auditorium, with a lot of facilities for our alumni to go and have fun, as well as become entrepreneurs and also take advantage of the space to do anything that you like to do. And we also have executive suites planned. When you want to visit Hyderabad, you can stay on campus and experience firsthand what is happening in our university. So we need your participation in that as well. And Sudhakar will continue to communicate to you, all of you. Again, thank you so much today. A wonderful session, great kickoff.
I think Dr. Harigaru, Dr. Padma want to say something. Dr. Padma was trying to say something. Dr. Aleti Padma Garu.
She's on mute.
You're on mute, Andy. I know you were trying to say something. If you want to say, you can please go ahead and unmute and please speak. Okay, that's fine. So sorry, Harigaru. Yeah, finish.
No, you can close the session now. Again, appreciate everybody's time. Yeah.
Yeah, thank you all again. Wonderful. So we all see you. As a good note, I want to say Happy New Year in advance, because the happiness already been arrived on 15th November on Diwali, because we are officially an alumni chapter with all of us as one family, one platform. Let